All right, hello third grade. So we are going to continue finishing our center picture and then we're going to start painting our border today. So in Faith Ringgold's Tar Beach, the little girl Cassie flew over things to own it. So in your picture at the top, you need to draw yourself up here. And I'm attaching a handout of how to draw Cassie for Tar Beach, but you can tailor it to look like you. So basically you want to draw like a letter Y that's really thick, and then add legs and feet, and if you want to add fingers, you can. Now your face can be looking down in profile. I don't love mine. A couple friends in your class got this step done on Tuesday, and they had their face just looking straight out at the viewer, and I think it's cuter. So you decide. So I need a little person flying over your thing. It cannot be stick figures. So make it have a thickness and feet and hands. If you don't want to do little fingers, you're absolutely allowed to do just like mitten hands, and that's fine. You'll outline that with Sharpie. I don't have my skinny Sharpie here to outline that, plus I think I'm going to fix mine because I don't love it. So once you have that done and outlined, you're ready to paint. And we're going to start painting our border today. We will not get to the middle today because you don't want to paint the border and have it wet and then put wet paint in the middle because it all bleeds together and it doesn't look nice. So how we're painting our border is with pattern. So I'm going to turn mine upside down. So every square has a different pattern. There's 5 different patterns. So you're going to do a color pattern. So every diagonal square I have is going to be one color. Every polka dot square I have is going to be another color. So you're going to pick 5 colors you want to use in your border and paint it all the way across. You are not painting this several colors. This is going to be one color. Same with this one. So you're doing one color in each square. But you're going to call that whatever is in this diagonal pattern square, like say if this is blue, then every diagonal will be blue. Hopefully that makes sense. We'll go through it a little bit together. So you'll need your green paintbrush for this part because this isn't really tiny. You might need your smaller paintbrush for details next week. But you want your green paintbrush, you need a cup of water, and you need your paint set and possibly a paper towel if you need to dab it. So it does not matter. There's no rule about what color you can choose. I'm going to decide that my diagonal squares are going to be blue. And I don't like how dark that is, so I'm going to add some more water to mine. And I like it better when it's lighter. So remember, watercolor needs to be light. So this is what I suggest. I suggest you now paint every pattern like that at once. That way it has time to dry. So I'm going to keep using my turquoise, and every diagonal square is going to be this color. So I don't have to worry about changing my colors. I just look for the pattern, and if it gets on your table, that's okay, I'll clean up. You want to stay inside your square, and we don't want things too dark that you can't see your pattern through it. So if it's too dark and you're losing your pattern, add some water to your paintbrush to really lighten it up, all right? So we're going to paint all the diagonals or whatever pattern, that first pattern, paint them all the same way at first. That way the other colors or the other patterns can dry before you change color. So this one's a little lighter, so I can go back and add more color. So you probably have about 8 of each pattern. So it gives you time to really decide what your next color is going to be. So again, you don't want this pattern so dark, this color so dark you can't see your pattern through it. So you just don't have to worry about washing your brush too often. Stay on the tippy toe of your paintbrush, keep it clean, and think about your good craftsmanship. I know you can't see me now, sorry. You want to really control where this paint goes. If you accidentally get lost and you paint something the wrong color, get a paper towel and try to soak up as much as you can, let that dry, and then you can paint over it again. I got a little bit into my other square, but that's okay. So I have all my diagonal squares painted, so now I'm gonna pick maybe something not right next to this color. I'm going to pick this one to paint because we really want this to dry. So again, you decide what colors you like. If you're going to use this purple, I'm going to show you. You want to make sure it's not so dark you can't see your pattern. So if it comes out dark, rinse your paintbrush and just do clear water and make it lighter. So you want to be able to see your pattern. Nothing too dark, and we're going to keep going. So I think you probably get it. You don't need to watch me paint on my stuff. So you're going to paint kind of a different way than we normally do. You're going to paint one pattern You're gonna paint all of them. Then you're gonna skip a box and paint the one in the middle. So I'm done with the purple. I can now possibly come to this one and paint, because you want to make sure this is dry. If it's not dry, you might need to wait a little bit, and in class we'd probably wave something over it. So go ahead and then you paint all your second color, then you'll do your third color, and I'd paint it next to this one because this has been out the longest. And then paint all that one color, and then just keep going, just making sure not to paint wet color next to wet color, because if I were to paint something right next to this, it's going to bleed into my other pattern, and I don't want that. So go ahead, paint your border completely. I want to see a picture of you flying over your product that needs to be outlined in Sharpie, and I want to see a completely 100% painted border. I'm going to let you guys go because you don't need to watch me paint for the next 30 minutes, but you need to do 5 colors repeated over and over neatly. We're working at the tip of our paintbrush, and we're being very neat. Don't paint wet paint next to wet paint, and you'll be just fine. Try to keep the paint out of the center. If you have any questions, let me know. I'll talk to you guys later. Goodbye, guys.